Hi, it's Zeke with the Eastside Church of Christ in Baytown, Texas. Thanks for joining us for another short episode of Looking Up. Looking up is exactly what some folks in Numbers 13 and 14 had to do. I had an opportunity recently to read through Numbers 13 and 14. You're familiar with that. It's the account of the spies that were sent into the Promised Land to see if it was really all that God had said it was going to be. And it certainly was. It was a land that was flowing with milk and honey, bountiful, fruitful, all the things that God said it would be. But of course, there was going to be some work in taking it. They saw fortified cities and they saw men who to them looked like giants. And Joshua and Caleb, two of the 12 spies that were sent into the land, really believed that God was going to help them assume victory if they just went in and did what God said. And so they exhorted the people to trust him, to do what they said. But they got some pushback, and pretty soon it was just Joshua and Caleb against an unruly mob who wanted to stone them. And eventually these faithless men said, let's choose a leader and go back to Egypt. Well, in spite of the fact that Joshua and Caleb were nearly chomping at the bit to go in and take the land as God said that they would, most of the people went along with these faithless men and decided, yeah, maybe we should just go back to Egypt. And we see a difference here between fearless leaders and faithless men. You see, fearless leaders don't ignore the obstacles, but they see them as opportunities for God to work through his people, because they believe in an all-powerful God who's stronger than they are, stronger than they could ever be together. A God who loves them, a God who cares for them, and as long as you're following him, a God who is going to make sure that eventually you have the victory, especially when he already told you that you would. Faithless men, on the other hand, they fear men even more than God. They make their problems to be bigger than God himself. These Israelites, they rather would have had the familiarity of slavery than the responsibilities of freedom. You see, they failed to see that the so-called safety of captivity was actually a lie. Now, if they went back to Egypt, they may not have had the promised land, but at least they wouldn't have to fight giants. Taking the safe way out has never been the way of God's people. Instead, what we should pray for is that God will work his power through his people because of our faith in him. May we stand against the faithless and urge them to obedience to God. May we see the promise of God instead of the danger of giants. May we have courage and conviction because we know that the battle belongs to the Lord and not even to us. The victory is his. May we fear no man more than we fear our mighty God. Our looking up verse comes from Numbers chapter 14 and verse 17, where Moses said, "But now I pray, let the power of the Lord be great, just as you have declared." God promised that if they just trusted in him, they'd be all right. That's the same advice that we need today. We need to trust in God. Sometimes we look at the situation that we're engulfed in and we see giants. We see insurmountable obstacles that we can't get past. The truth is, we can, we must, and we will if we believe in the power of our great God. Well, thanks for looking up today with us. Hope to see you again. God bless you.